My father often told me, very, very, very frequently, that I had had polio when I was between 2 and 3. And I always believed him. It's been called into question in the last few years. I was always puzzled that my mother didn't appear to know anything about it. She didn't know how old I was when I got it, nor how long it lasted, and if my child had had a life-threatening disease, I would have known when and for how long. My brother remembers nothing about it. He was 9 or 10 at the time, but it still seems a little odd. The only person who seemed to know all about it was my father. It's been called into question for a lot of reasons. I don't have the normal damage associated with polio. No withered limbs. I do have lung damage. I do have damage to my rib cage, and I do have damage to my spine. None of which has ever been explained to me by the doctors, although I have asked them to explain. I remember being in an isolation ward. I was in some kind of isolation ward. But the girl next to me was coughing blood into a cup. She was a big girl, about 9. That suggests TB, and as somebody said, you wouldn't put a sufferer from TB in a ward with a sufferer from polio because of cross-contamination. So there's that. If I did have polio, there are only 3 ways I could have got it, because there was no epidemic of polio where we were living, supposedly living, in 1956 to 1957, which was Peterlee and Durham. There was no outbreak of polio there. That would leave having got it from the vaccine, possibility 1. There was an outbreak in Cork in precisely those years, so perhaps we had a visitor from Cork, possibility 2. Or perhaps we were in Cork, possibility 3. And not in Peterlee. Hell, what would I know? And my brother doesn't remember either. And recently, very recently, an Irish doctor took one look at me and said, "You have not had polio. I have seen polio, you have not had it." Well, this leaves for me the questions of what caused the damage to lungs, rib cage, and spine, and I forget what I was going to say.